I pressed taunt. And there you go.
It's tough, dude. It's tough. I mean...
It's like, you know, back in the days when supports would only play Nunu. It's like super difficult to play Nunu support. Like, where's my AD carry? Blood Bar. Yeah, boys. All right, just channel ulti in the middle of everything, and I'm playing Nunu.
We're LCS now. Well, Splyce and H2K in to pick some bans. Tactical Nick has returned after I called out Yamata Cannon yesterday for not wearing it.
I think it's always day 2 he brings.
Is it? We'll have to see.
I mean, I feel like we have a lot of ideas around this turtleneck here.
Yeah.
Like, it was also undefeated at some point, I think.
Yeah, they didn't last very long, did it?
No, then it lost the game. But anyway, for some reason, Splyce hates Vander, and they decide to ban away his champions.
Well, that's not a big surprise. Vander has played a number of champions. Janna 3 times, Alistar 3 times. But see what he defaults to. Quinn,
he can just take
from the table
Thresh
as well.
I mean, he can technically just take Thresh in the first rotation if he wants. I don't think that's a first pick for Splyce at all.
Well, we know Kallista's been spammed in solo queue by Forgiven. I believe he's got an 83% win ratio when I last looked. He played Sivir yesterday, much to many old school viewers' surprise.
And Forgiven was very happy about that. He felt like Sivir is his kind of champion. He's a team player, he's a utility player. So we saw him smiling after, and then probably apologized on Twitter for putting Forgiven, one of the greatest AD carries we have, on Sivir.
Wow, you're so salty about like successful champions.
No. I always liked Sivir. Last year, we were always calling out Forgiven for not playing it.
Oh, and I remember.
Until he picked it up on Gambit. And they lost some games, but doesn't matter.
He was expanding his champion pool. We'll see if he's going to do a similar situation today, because yesterday, H2K were blue side. They first picked the Corki. It's been stolen away.
Yeah.
And after all of our ramble, all of our excitement, it's going to be a Lucian Nidalee, but Jankos is going to be exceptionally happy because that champion is almost perma-banned.
Yeah, a lot of players are still saying if Nidalee's open, something has gone wrong in the ban phase. And then if Nidalee's open on red side, something has gone wrong in the picking phase as well. But Corki has returned as one of these instant first pick, instant lock-ins, because some of the other champions around him got nerfed. Like 6.4 was a patch where Riot was a little bit angry, it seemed, and they just decided to nerf a lot of champions. Because there was only like 4 or 5 small buffs, and then there was a lot of nerfs to different picks. And Corki was untouched because he got nerfed in 6.3. And he's returned to his first picking status.
Glorious return.
And there's the Thresh. I mean,
the Yordle pilot.
I mean, I understand if you're afraid of Vander's impact in team fights on Alistar and Braum. But yeah.
Well, look, Vander's played 1 game of Thresh this split. It was actually a loss. He had good stats, but if you look at his most plays, it's Janna, Alistar, Trundle, then Braum, even Poppy games from earlier in the split.
Yeah.
So it is a, I'm going to use this term, Lucian, uncomfortable champion, at least on stage.
It's an old school pick for him. Like when he came into the LCS, it was just Thresh every single game. Vanderlife was a good nickname for him.
Long time ago.
Long time ago, back in Season 4. But Splyce clearly are opting into big team fights. I think that's what these 2 bans on supports tell me, because it's the 2 best team fighting supports you're banning away. And also the weakness of H2K, if we look at every game they played so far this bit, it has been team fights.
Yeah.
They have honestly struggled even against some of the weaker teams in big 5-on-5.
Because H2K don't play PvP.
No,
they play PvE.
Yeah, just towers, minions. That matters, and I guess the Dragon sometime in the Baron.
Yeah.
Once, and then you use it to finish the game.
Only when you're ready for the raid boss. Until then,
just gotta gear up first, level up a little bit.
Well, listen, that LeBlanc, by the way, undefeated for Ryu, 2 games played. He's only got a 25 KDA, nothing to worry about. 12, 1, and 13. And
maybe
his
you put the
opposite
comma
number,
wrong, it's 2.5.
Sencux has said, let's throw down, and he's opted into the Zed v LeBlanc matchup.
Oh, this is one of the matchups I like to see in Europe. We have so many of these assassin players in the mid lane, and this is such a nice skill matchup, but it is in favor of Zed. Because when you play Zed into LeBlanc, not only can you out-trade it early on and get the push going, you also force it to itemize early arm guard, which actually sets her behind quite a bit, and even early hourglass, so it really delays LeBlanc's mid-game spikes quite a bit by picking Zed. But again, Splyce with the 3 first picks, it was very teamfight focused. They used the Nautilus as a flex pick here, put it down support, and take Fiora top. So it's become a split pushing composition that was originally built as a teamfighting comp with Corki Nautilus in there.
We'll see how Splyce play out the lanes once they get into the game. But for Sencux, we heard Stress talking about him right at the beginning of the show. contrasting Sencux and Perks' performance in the Spring Split. Sencux has opted into the skill matchup against one of the best mid laners that League has ever seen, Ryu. And Odoamne is on your favorite champion, your flavor of the month, Deficio.
I will only have positive things to say about Rammus today.
I think you're lying. I think you're lying. I'm going to call you out.
It is a very good pick here against so much physical damage on the side of Splyce. Remember, Corki does do a lot of magic damage, but he's now Corki AD carry, so it doesn't spike as hard as in mid lane because you don't get the same levels coming in. So against the Zed, I mean, Zed is never going to kill Odoamne in the late game, ever. Wunderwear, we've seen this matchup before. Very snowballing. If you get a few ganks on Rammus, Fiora can actually take over and become a super strong split pusher. Otherwise, it takes a bit of time. You got to build up some lifesteal, get a few items under your belt, and you come split pushing. So H2K, a lot of pick potential. You know, single target CC from both Vander and Odoamne. Pick potential from Ryu. Lucian is one of the greatest AD carries in these skirmish comps. Can kind of dance around and do a lot of other AD carries. So we got split push against pick comp.
And we'll have to see who can execute their team comp and play to their team compositions, win conditions more accurately.
I like the buzzwords.
If you think it will be Splyce pulling out the map pressure, jump onto Twitter and let us know using hashtag SPYWin. And if you think it will be H2K and their pick-powered composition, will it be hashtag H2KWin? You guys jump onto Twitter and let us know, because we're about to jump into game. The second to last game here in week 8. Lane swaps, are we expecting head-to-heads? Do you want to go Fiora LeeSin into Nidalee Rammus?
There's a good chance Splyce will say, you know what, boys, let's lane swap. Not only do you have the weaker 2v2 lane in terms of players, also in terms of matchup, even though, I mean, Nautilus does do well in the early game because he has so high base damage. So if they want to try and gamble on Kobbe and Nisbeth surviving 2v2, they can take it to put Fiora in the solo lane. But again, you need Kobbe and Nisbeth then to perform. We've seen them struggle in the laning phase 2v2 before, and against Forgiven and Vander, one of the absolute strongest 2v2 lanes we have in the entire West. So we do see them set up for lane swap, as mentioned. Kind of expected.
Yeah, not too surprising. Not many people will want to throw down with Forgiven and Vander, especially with that sort of lane setup. H2K do a exploratory invade. Don't spot anybody out. Don't actually even leave too many wards.
No, going for picnic. Vander and Forgiven together. Forgot to bring the food though. Unless it's in the lantern.
Maybe they're going to be feeding off Splyce. You're going to take that analogy one step further.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if they can get some Trashy or some trash.
No, you see, now you've killed it. Now you've taken it too far.
I know, I tried. I just want you to accept me, Trevor, that's all.
One step is all I'm willing to accept, Official. Vander and Forgiven, as we said, they're hungry for some juicy Splyce blood. Trashy's forced to flash. Exhaust goes down on Wunderwear. He's holding on to his flash, a lunge away. Vander's going to continue chasing, and they get flash from Trashy in exchange for exhaust on Vander.
And we see one of these situations again where one team is invading very aggressively with their dual lane, the other team does not. It's only Nisbeth walking in on top side, meaning H2K does not get forced away. They get to do their one camp and then move to the bottom side. They get the double buff and everything is back to normal. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the tempo, your favorite word when we're in lane swaps. How quickly can teams get to that first tower? Which wave do they push on? Is it the second wave? Is it the third wave? For now, Splyce is doing all right. They're just delaying when the top lane is here. That's also what happens when you get delayed on first camp. You often get a little bit slower to the top lane, but it's going to be even out here. It's going to be super evenly matched.
All right, so close as close can be. Trashy's invading into the top quadrant, replacing control. Jankos will be able to do the same down bottom, but we're busy watching the wave. Splyce community wave just thinning out.
A few things. Obviously, Wunderwear was top a little bit fast, and also Fiora does well with pushing in these towers here once she gets level 2. And at the same time, Forgiven also spent quite a lot of time on actually trying to last hit a few minions. So he didn't get fully, or the maximum mortal attacks on tower. That does slow it down a little bit.
So in actual fact, will Splyce get this tower first? I don't think it's going to make a huge difference.
No, it'll
be like,
so
what,
close
5 seconds? It needs to be longer than 10, 15 seconds to get the recalls in and actually set up part 2 of lane swap story.
Well, this is a little bit annoying for H2K because they ended up sharing the tower gold. Again, it's small things. Odoamne wants to get the full amount of gold normally. Even greedy Vander wanted some gold here because they just had to finish tower as fast as possible. So they are behind now. It actually will matter because it ended up becoming at least 10, 12 seconds.
Okay.
After, but
you can see on the minimap, Forgiven and Vander slowly making it out top lane while Kobbe and Nisbeth have already basically met the minion wave in front of Odo.
And you can match that tempo very easily by just sending in your jungler. Give a few hits on tower as well. It kind of evens it out. It just, now it's more about the top lane farm. Wunderwear should honestly just push the wave at this point. Because he still saw Rammus on bot side. He just moved out of vision now to recall. So now you can see Wunderwear is doing it. Just pushing out whatever minions he can. Poor top laners. And all the top laners, they love lane swaps. You know, it's the favorite time. When if you get 12 CS at like 4 minutes, you're lucky.
Yes.
It's like, congratulations.
Bonus.
There you go.
Level-wise, those 12 CS has allowed Wunderwear to stay one level ahead of Odo. Odo's about 60%. And Splyce are actually, I'm going to say the sentence to Fisher. Splyce are ahead of H2K in the opening stages of a lane swap.
Yes. Not something we see very often, but
we saw Elements actually doing that yesterday to Splyce. The teams even lower down the table here in EU, showing that they've got a pretty good understanding of how to play it out.
I mean, you scrim against these teams every single week, and what's going to happen in a scrim is when you lose because of a lane swap, you don't have a choice. You have to learn it. Like, there's no other way around it. You just have to go back, watch the VOD, learn the lane swap, and then match it yourself. Otherwise, you would just lose every single game straight up in the early game. So it's going to even out. We actually saw the rest of H2K take over on the top down. Forgiven again. Give me some gold.
All right, so what's the next step now? We know Splyce want to, ideally set up some split push, maybe a 1-3-1.
That's going to be a while.
H2K want to get picks, want to find kills, and with both outer turrets down, what can we expect from the teams? How do you think they play the map?
Well, we're not really going to see much fighting because Rift Hell goes down once you take tier 1 on top side. You take Rift Hell, and then you swap the lanes again. So you return to the bottom side with your AD carry support and jungler, who's going to have the Rift Hell buff, and you push for enemy tier 2. On top side, the other team is going to mirror exactly the same thing. But even though you have Rift Hell, because Splyce were ahead in taking down towers, they can evenly match it now, and also take the tier 2 top tower. So both teams are probably just going to trade here, tower for tower.
Okay.
And the fighting will have to wait. But one thing we haven't looked at is actually the mid lane.
Oh, you just got ahead of me.
I'm the new play-by-play here.
Okay, right.
Look at me, Trevor. Right. I'm the play-by-play now. Ryu is ahead in CS, Trevor. What's going on?
Well, Sencux, we've not watched it, but we can only presume that he's fallen behind. He's taken some non-opportune trades, and Ryu, who is a player you would expect to outperform Sencux, is doing so even in a slightly subpar matchup.
Yeah.
How'd I do?
No, that was pretty spot on.
Pretty good?
Yeah. I like it.
I was trying to be, pretty fair there.
No, I think you're correct. Odoamne getting dove.
Ports out. This might be a little awkward. Nisbeth, remember, support Nautilus does not have the largest amount of tankiness and is forced to flash away defensively. But H2K, they smell blood in the water. Jankos is chasing forward. He's going to be involved in his 10th first blood in 16 games. Jankos continues to chase down, lines up the javelin toss, just sidestepped by Trashy, and Trashy gets over the wall. H2 what as the crowd are chanting. Jankos is not done yet, swaps back into human form, and a sidestep from Trashy. And Officio, I said it in the play-by-play, 10 out of the 16 games, Jankos has either secured or assisted in a first blood for H2K.
First blood king, man.
Still.
Always. Funny thing is, Splyce were basically thinking what I was thinking before. Okay, it's going to be standard swap. You go there for enemy tier 2. They were basically seeing that play. So when they saw Odoamne at top side, they're like, oh, we can dive in. Because, normally H2K would be pushing for bot tower here. And that's why they went for the dive. Then realizing, oh, wait, it's only Forgiven on bottom side. There's no one else pushing. Because H2K said, you know what, we don't want to match it. We're behind in the tempo. Let's recall with support and jungle. And then go and defend top. Had Splyce realized that it was only Forgiven on bottom side, they would never have gone for that tower dive. And they would never have given up that first blood. But they were just expecting so much that H2K were just going to mirror the exact play they were making. And then they got surprised.
Yeah, putting the blinkers on. Not looking in the side lanes, not looking past the objective right in front of them. And Splyce get punished. They're now 1,400 gold down. Ryu despite having what was a 20 CS advantage, is now down thanks to the roam. He gave up some pressure in the mid lane. And I want to see him reclaim it. But Seeker's arm got picked up, so that itemization that you talked about, somewhat equaled out, I feel. First item, Hex Drinker as well. Sencux paying some respect to Ryu.
Sure. I mean, Hex Drinker is the correct item here. The difference is that the Hex Drinker, once you upgrade it, will give you armor penetration, which is great for the Zed. Hourglass is a very expensive first item to aim for, so it really slows down the LeBlanc, and you also don't get any cooldown reduction from it. So it's kind of nice. So look here. Splyce is seeing one member. They're basically saying, okay, they're going to mirror our play on bottom side. And as soon as they engage, you can see how everyone's just saying like, oh, wait a minute. We actually don't want this one. Let's just try and disengage because Vander shows up as well. Flash is now down from Nisbeth and Ryu has come from the bottom side. H2K basically knew by sending in Odoamne first, there's a high chance of a fight starting. And that's why Ryu were roaming as well. And they stopped that push, end up just trading the first 4 towers, and then we get a bit of action. Jankos missing a few skill shots.
I prefer Trashy dodged them.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I think those 2 that we just caught, he actually dodged. So there is an element of both, right? Is the glass half empty or is the glass half full?
It's always the thing, right, when you talk to the players, in case they actually missed a skill shot, they're like, no, 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 no. I was aiming for the juke. Okay. He just didn't juke, you know.
Yeah,
he just didn't juke.
If he was a better player, I would have hit him.
He would have juked right there,
yeah.
and then I would have hit him.
I love hearing that.
But as it is also correct often, because you do want to aim your skill shots at where you expect them to sidestep, and then you hit them.
Ooh, Kobbe's speed boost from the package. Maybe just misinterpreted from Vander, as he had the support of Jankos, and H2K still in control. We're going to have semi-standard lanes, but upside down. Both duos up top and both top laners down bottom. Trashy getting close to sniff for an opportunity.
And now we always have to look at TP timers, because when there are no tier 1 towers in side lanes, these big TP plays where you get a TP on a ward behind the enemy team is going to happen so often. Where Rammus really shines because you can just taunt that one member. And you can also just taunt the Fiora and gank her.
Not a lot of mana. Wunderwear is taking a deceptive amount of damage from Tremors. Odo rolls forward. Very good
nice
riposte. That will apply a stun, but here comes Jankos. He's leapt forward. That javelin can... Wunderwear! Dodge sideways, man!
No, because that's the skill shot juke, you know, from Jankos saying like, okay, Wunderwear is going to dodge sideways. Well, he thinks he's going to do that, so I'm going to throw it straight in the face of him. And then he got juked.
But a lot of damage from...
that was absolute max
Rammus.
range, by the way, from Jankos with that spear.
Couldn't have got more damage. Once again, Trashy's able to dodge, something Wunderwear was unable to. And there's some pressure middle, actually. Both junglers coming in. Odo wants to roll in from behind. He's got a flash available. Sencux was chained in place. And that was an opportunistic javelin toss.
But it's always the fun thing when you have these lane swaps that stop at the tier 1 towers, and you just get long lanes, and you get standard laning phase from there. Because ganking is just so effective all of a sudden. And again, also forcing these teleports so you can then make a 4-man play to take a tier 2 tower after. It's gonna happen, but Ryu is having a great time in this mid lane. A lot of the Z players here in Europe definitely say this matchup should not look like this at all for the Z.
But that's a testament to Ryu and his abilities.
It is. And also I feel...
Oh, the hook gets interrupted. Nisbeth ain't no Spider-Man. Throws out the depth charge, it'll knock Jankos up, but it won't slow him down. Vander picks up the kill. Power ball coming in from Odo. He teleports it in for this. The javelin finds Trashy as Trashy kicks Odo away. H2K have got a 5-man stack middle, and there's no response from Wunderwear, so pressure on the outer turrets.
Another invade from Splyce, something we see very often. They invade into the enemy jungle, and then when in the jungle, everyone kind of leaves each other. They just abandon each other, start running away. Nisbeth basically left, gets caught by Vander, and suddenly another kill, another tower. And it's always these very small mistakes that always snowball into more. Like, so they invade him to get some deep vision. Now the rest of the team is running away. Nisbeth thinks he can just hook onto the wall. Vander says nope, and boom, another kill.
Now H2K earn themselves a 3,000 gold lead. You can see them securing the dragon down bottom. Decent enough disengage from Trashy, but this is where things start to get scary for Splyce, because we touched on it at the beginning of the game. Splyce dropped this game, they will be equal in record with Elements, and they have a tied head-to-head at 1-1, which means that 7th spot, we may be in store for a tiebreaker to determine the safety position going into Summer Split.
And both teams have very tough schedules next week. We saw their Splyce one, Vitality and G2 as the teams they're facing, where on the side of Elements, as I'm just trying to go through my brain here,
they have
and
Fnatic.
remember, they have Fnatic, and also they play H2K.
Yeah.
So like right now, H2K is the team standing
The
all
gatekeepers.
the way on top. Splyce and Elements are trying to climb up the wall, and H2K is just standing up there, kind of kicking them in the face and knocking them down again. Because they're basically the ones trying to deny the 7th spot for me.
Good hook from Vander. He's decided to follow in, uses the box. Doesn't manage to connect. Trashy, why are you going back in? Maybe not knowing who the rest of the team was, and that was a pretty trashy play.
He's not going to be happy about that one.
Full facepalm as well on the player cam.
You can see it instantly. Like, I think as soon as he clicked it, it was like, wait. Oh, and another kill.
If you look, there's no vision, so just misinterpreting maybe how many members were around. Assumed maybe it was just Forgiven Vander.
No matter what, there was no play to be made because his team was still running from lanes. So, I think, not sure, misclick potentially, or he just really felt like there was something he could, like...
I'm sure we're going to see the vision.
Look at the minimap. So 2 guys on bottom side, okay, they're coming to help him. He's already disengaged, but they even know Ryu is here, and they knew the 2 guys were over the wall hitting him. Oof. And Vander, disrespecting the soul of Trashy, doesn't even want to pick it up.
Doesn't need the extra armor. If we take a look top lane, Wunderwear is in trouble. 3 members of H2K running him down. While that was going on, Forgiven got chunked out. We'll catch a glimpse of how that played out, but Wunderwear survives, forced to blow his flash. I think Vander used his to try set up a play, and Forgiven dropped.
I think maybe he just overextended mid a little bit and got caught up by the Z. So important, the first kill for Splyce. Problem is, again, they're just giving up so many of these sloppy ones, and here Trashy now.
He's going to take some damage to the tower.
It's a very silent fight.
It is. Paying respects to Forgiven. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good one.
Yeah.
From here in Berlin. Here's a replay. Oh, wow. Actually, some kudos to Sencux for that one.
Oh, yeah, super good combo, just getting so much damage down.
Everything from Vander.
Beautiful play. Really good play from him. Like, again, Shadow, full combo. Don't pop your ulti yet. Then follow in and also use it to dodge around some of the CC. So a good little kill from Splyce.
Sencux is going to need a lot more of those to become a threat in a side lane. A threat is always going to be a strong word because I feel Odo's going to be able to just somewhat ignore him and wave clear and then TP for any potential fights.
Basically, I mean, most of the time it will be Odoamne against Wunderwear because, again, you always match TP versus TP. So that's another lane where Splyce is looking to have a split pushing threat. It's just so difficult against Rammus because he gets so much early armor on 2 items. So you need like 3-4 items before you can really outduel him. And you don't have that much time. Your Z will lose a lot of impact in the late game when we get QSS coming from Forgiven, and then it becomes tough.
So Odo's got around 140 or 150 base armor. And once he throws down his W, the defensive ball curl, that actually goes up to around 240. Already at 17 minutes. That is a lot of armor. H2K knock over their 4th tower down bottom lane.
Yeah, it's one of those classic plays where now it was supposed to always be a situation where either you had evenly matched lanes or you could always mirror each other. But because the kills have started happening and everyone's a little bit confused on the map of where to be, and there's no TP for Wunderwear, he was stuck bottom lane, which was the lane H2K were pushing with Forgiven. And whenever Forgiven is pushing a lane as the AD carry, you always have jungle support around him. So if there's one guy defending, you go down 3-man jungle support, and you just force him off tower. Because you can always TP in as well if you're top lane, and that's a 4v1. So he's just forced to go back, easy tower for H2K. Nothing Splyce can do in response, and then a 4k gold behind. With this comp that in many, many ways had to win early on, with the Z, Corki mid-game spike as well. Later on in the game, yes, okay, Nidalee won't be the greatest team fighter, but once you get defensive items, Z doesn't have much value in the team fight. And it becomes very difficult to start split pushing if you're falling really far behind on the map, because then whenever you set up a 1v1, the other team is already in position to take something elsewhere and force you away.
And that's exactly what H2K is trying to do. Dredgeline almost catches Ryu, but his distortion is able to move away quickly. And we're getting closer to 20 minutes. Gold lead around
4,000. Hourglass completed for Ryu. Roa stacking for Jankos. Thornmail for Odo. Titanic Hydra picked up on the side of Wunderwear. And Triforce picked up for Kobbe. So all of the champions that really sort of want to become enabled are in the activated damage dealing states. But it's H2K with the advantage. They're in control of the map. They're dictating where Splyce have to go, and H2K are making Splyce dance to their beats.
And they're getting the deep wards. You can always see when a team is ahead if you look at the river, and you see 3 to 4 pink wards in the river just belonging to one team. Because that means you always can use your green wards placed in dead enemy jungle now, because you have full vision of river already with your pinks. And that, again, you force Splyce to defend in a 1-3-1 composition. It can't defend. It just doesn't work. Zed, it does nothing if he's sitting at his own tower. So H2K is in full control. I like the defensive builds, even the Rod of Ages from Jankos, because you're against so much burst, but really no front line. Support Nautilus is not that great in the late game. Super squishy still. So I just like the fact that H2K is saying we just need to survive the engage, and we can then win the fight right after, because they're all so squishy anyway.
Well, seems to be the case. Culling used in conjunction with the Doom's Eve minions. In a turret top, loses about 1/3 of its HP. And now it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Jankos is loading up those javelins.
Some pretty weird looking fish. Some polluted water here, definitely.
Yeah, that's why
one of them is a
Nautilus,
ninja.
that's why Nautilus is wearing that diving outfit.
Ah, he's a smart fish. Good fish.
Trashy doesn't get caught out. That was the ghost plate being used. Sencux is looking for it. Trashy takes out Vander, and Sencux dies for his troubles. The big fight breaks out. Trashy's in retreat, as is Nisbeth. Nisbeth goes down, piercing light, flies across Trashy's face. A flash forward from Forgiven to close it out, and it's a 1-for-3.
And the worst part here is that it's actually a good play from Splyce. Like, the start is great. You see 2 members from H2K are moving towards mid lane. Fine, they're now 2 isolated targets. Go in with your Zed, you know, pop that one guy. Problem is, you're already fallen so far behind, and you have no map control, so it's very easy to move from mid lane to the top lane for H2K and just join the fight, get the kills. We're gonna get a 20-minute Baron. This must be the earliest Baron we've seen, all split long, and great analysis there, because we're 20 minutes and 55 seconds in.
We'll have to get our stats bender to actually confirm that number.
I mean, it must be the earliest one.
Oh, 20 seconds, 55. 20 minutes, 55 seconds is when it was secured. We'll confirm those numbers now. Sencux goes all in for Vander, but look at the minimap. The response from H2K to just collapse.
Again, you are pushed back to your towers. You will always move later than the people who's pushing you into the tower, because you have to take the long route around. Wunderwear in the end couldn't straight run through the jungle, he had to wait. Then H2K left, and he's like, all right, fine, now I can go through the jungle, and oh, my team's dead. So it's very little he can do.
It's a fish show. We were talking about shooting fish in a barrel. It reminded me of a joke which I want to tell you. After Wunderwear, great hook. Vander just catches Wunderwear. Wunderwear's going to take H2K on a bit of a tour before he goes down. Really, that was just inevitable from H2K. So you ready for the joke?
Yeah, tell me the joke.
To Fisher, there's 2 fish in a tank. One says, you drive, the other says, I'll shoot. All right, we'll get back to our regular schedule programming.
Really bad joke.
H2K.
Did you get that one from your dad or something?
Start sieging up the mid inner turret. Oh, what a hook! Vander finds Kobbe, and maybe Vander life is back. Oh, great prediction. And it's blowing the minds of the people here in Berlin.
We've seen it a few times already. This guy's head must really hurt by now.
Not over yet. H2K, 10,000 gold up. The Baron play, that plus 3,000 gold is the additional gold they've earned more than their opponents, while Baron is up. That's growing even bigger. As H2K take down their first inhibitor with the first secured Baron, inhibitor and Baron together. All right, Odoamne's trying to get away. Another great dense sentence. Vander just sets Ryu up to knock Wunderwear down. Are you having trouble understanding the joke?
No, I'm just trying to find out if you actually said it correctly. I'm reading there's a lot of different ways you could say that joke, apparently. There's another edition of it. 2 fish are in a tank, and one turns to the other and says, do you know how to drive this thing?
See, that's a different variation, but that's spelling out the answer.
I like it.
Another fight, gentlemen. As Odo's on the front line, tremors are aplenty. They take down Nisbeth. H2K peel away, and in the 2.5 minutes of Baron, they have destroyed Splyce's base. Look at this death sentence from Vander. Kobbe, he even had flash available and decided not to use it.
You know it's Vander live in this game. Second game only plays the Thresh today.
This year.
Also the first time he plays it today.
Also?
Yeah, it is. But H2K, full control.
Really like hearing team shots from the audience here as H2K are building up an ever-growing fan base.
Tough game for Wunderwear. Not 100% his own fault. He's been ganked quite a bit in the side lanes, but...
Oh, bye, Ryu. No, maybe not. Sencux is going to actually back away. Ryu stays alive thanks to that hourglass. A flash from Sencux to dodge the death sentence. That was a dodge. Javelin toss doesn't find anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just, you know...
You're correct.
Yeah, because remember you said it. You are the play-by-play now, so I've got to help out a little. I mean, I'll never be able to do that, but I'll try.
Odoamne is a bit of a drive-by here. What's he doing? Not a whole lot.
So,
smack into a minion.
Deficio.
Tell me it's the early parent.
I have an update for you.
Say it.
No, you're wrong. Well, I'll tell you why you're wrong in a second, because Ryu, another death sentence, catches Nisbeth out, flashes away, throws down the mine. That will at least slow down Ryu, but do not much else. Super minions already pouring through onto the Nexus turrets. H2K have got themselves 2 kills, turn their attention over to the Nexus. Ryu's ghost is taking some damage as Forgiven starts hammering away on the Nexus turrets. A double dash forward from Ryu takes a big burst from Kobbe, for he's forced away, and H2K take down Splyce convincingly and maintain a hold of first place in the European LCS.
Not yet.
Oh, it still counts. It'll finish shortly. Now they've done it.